and gentlemen. It's getting connected. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Gaurav. I'm a part of X Monks, an ecosystem that brings to you world class coaches, thought leaders from various walks of life for personal transformation and leadership development. We are partners to two international companies, including Ericsson Coaching International, as well as David Clutterberg Coaching and Mentoring, where we are on a mission to make India the coaching capital of the world. Now, what does that mean to make India the coaching capital of the world? What it means is that just imagine if in every family there is one coach, how is it going to transform the conversations that you're going to have with your family members? Just imagine that there's one coach in every team. How is it going to transform every single performance related conversations? That's the mission we are on to make India the coaching capital of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, gone are the days when coaching was supposed to be only for elite class of people or C suite, or it was just a remedial tool. Not anymore. Today, coaching is becoming a language to reckon with. If you're a manager or a team leader or an entrepreneur or a business leader, or for that matter, even if you're a parent or if you have siblings or you are surrounded by people, coaching is the language that can transform everything. In Sir John Whitmore's words, coaching is the most natural form of conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to talk about that coaching is no longer optional for today's leaders. And when I'm talking about that, what I'm saying is it's not just a privilege that should be given to only few leaders in the world. Instead, it is becoming a must to have skill, and especially with the advent of artificial intelligence in the world, where it's not only chaotic at one place. I think we are living in a chaotic world. Whether you look at the climate changes or if you look at the advancement of AI in the world, where technology is not just a strength, it's just becoming an enabler. And how well you shape yourself up is going to define how you're going to hold the conversation with your colleagues, with your manager. In the hybrid world where we are living in, where it's not only about work from home, it's about working with robots as well. You don't have to just work with people, you have to work with robots as well. What is the significance of a coaching related conversation? Coaching supported conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, before we get on to this conversation where we have our special guest today, Bhushan Kulkarni, who is the Vice President, Learning and Development with ICICI Lombard. Bhushan, thank you so much for joining us on this podcast. Such a pleasure. And I can't wait to listen to your views when you are going to talk about that coaching is not optional for today's leaders. I would love to understand why do you say so? Uh, what you say and how can we put it into practical application for everyone around. So without wasting much of your time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to hand it over to Bhushan. In case you've got any question, you can just go and write your question in the Q&A, which is on the bottom bar. Or in case you've got a comment, I'm sure you're going to love the ideas that Bhushan is going to trigger right now in the next 40 minutes for us. You can definitely share your comments in the chat box. At the end of 40 minutes, for the last 10 minutes, we have Q&A. So just hold on, hold your questions, and we are going to bring all those questions on the track, on the running track in the last 10 minutes. We'll try and address as many questions as possible, but we don't promise that we'll be able to address all the questions. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Kulkarni. Bhushan Saab, Shukriya.
Hi, good evening.
Over to
Thank
you.
you, Gaurav. It's always a pleasure and an honor to be alongside you to talk to people. So thank you to X-Monks. Thanks to you. And importantly, thanks to all of them who have joined. Today is a working day. They must be rushing back home after a long day, and they still choose to be here. So I'm grateful to them. So thank you to them as well. And yeah, the topic is super interesting for me, and that's the reason I chose this topic. So I thought I'll just share the screen so that there are some infographics that we can really talk about. And let me just see if I can start the broadcast. Yeah, we are able to. You can just confirm if my screen is visible.
Your
Is
whole
it?
screen is visible.
Yeah, so let me just try and see if I can quickly put a presentation for the audience. Yeah. Is this now visible? Is the presentation visible?
Now it is.
Now it is? Okay. So great. Thank you once again for the opportunity, and thank you all of you for your invaluable time. And the topic is super interesting for me, and I'm sure because you chose to give time, it is interesting for you. Coaching is no longer optional for today's leaders. So what I'm saying is leadership is no longer about being the smartest in the room. So when we are talking about today's leader, the question to ask is, when I was preparing for this, I was asking myself, is today's leader any different from yesterday's leader? Okay. And when we talk about leadership, I am confining myself to corporate leadership, which is where I do maximum coaching. While I completely acknowledge and respect the fact that leadership is across levels and in different sectors. But today I'm restricting myself to corporate leadership and the traits hence. So one of the questions that I was asking myself uh, is today's leader any different? And one reflection that I had basis the conversations that I'm privileged to have with some of the senior leaders who I get the opportunity to coach is modern leadership has shifted from giving answers to creating growth. What do I mean by that? Is when I reflect upon this beautiful quote that Sheryl Sandberg once said, leadership is about making others better as a result of your presence and ensuring that the impact lasts in your absence. Now, I like this because it all sums up what leadership should really mean for each one of us. So it's about making others better as a result of our presence and making sure that that impact lasts when we are not around. And hence, of you and me who are aspiring to be leaders or leaders in our own rights, our role today isn't just solving problems, it's capability multiplier. And we'll unpack these words as we go along. So hence, one of the questions that I had on my mind is, so while we are talking about leader and your and my presence, making others better as a result of our presence around them, I was also contemplating on this word. What is the single most, responsibility of leadership? Now, and by the way, why this reflection? Because one of the conversations that I was having with one senior leader asked me this question, saying, "What do you think is the single most responsibility of leadership?" And we struggled to find that one single answer because every year there are countless books that get written on leadership as single word. So from amidst all this, how do we find that one single English sentence which can really sum up the broader theme of what leadership is all about? But before we actually delve into that, my request to you is, if you can take 30 seconds and tell me your understanding, if you have to choose one word or one sentence of what is that one single most responsibility of leadership according to you, if you can type in the chat window. And Gaurav, because I am on the screen, I am not able to see the chat. If you can just help me with the few of the responses that we get in the chat window, please.
We'll be very happy to do that.
Yeah. So what is the single most responsibility of leadership according to you? One word or one sentence?
Say inspire and empower, selfless actions inspiring to develop other leaders.
Wow. Yeah. And we did speak about these words, to be very candid with you. Uh, and here, most of the answers, while we were kind of figuring it out, words, we thought they were right. And so is the case with all of you. Yeah, it is indeed correct. Any other responses that are coming our way?
It says making others feel valued, a useful growth to hold space,
Yeah,
accountability, present, develop individuals in the team, support
yeah,
to downline people. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. All of that is true. But then we kind of put a sand boundary to ourselves and we said, what is that one sentence if we could pin it down to? And what came up is this. This is not ours, by the way. The conversation that I was having with the leader, neither is this statement his, nor is it mine. Somewhere someone read it, and we kind of happened to recollect it. And we said, this could be that one statement. While I'm not claiming that this is the definition, but I'm saying the role of leadership today, than ever before, is to ensure that the organization changes faster than the world around it. How many of you think uh, this resonates much closer, or this resonates with you? Yeah, this, if the leadership is able to kind of achieve this, we will be able to kind of live the real definition of leadership. If you agree, say yes in the chat window, or maybe if you have any alternate view, give that word as well. Okay with both.
It says yes, yes.
I'm
Uh,
so glad.
Very
I'm so
true. It
glad.
puts us ahead of competition. Yes.
Yeah. I'm so glad that this resonates with you. And let me pick up one example. And this is a very known, spoken about example of a Nokia. Yeah. The date was 13th September. My bad, 10th September 2013. Then CEO Stephen Elop was giving a farewell speech. And in that farewell speech, he spoke something which later on became one of the most referred statement. He said, "We didn't do anything wrong, but somehow we lost." Now, these words became symbolic of how even the strongest companies can collapse if they fail to adapt. So adaptability is one aspect which can foster change in the organization and people hence, because organization is a sum total of people, process, systems. Uh, if you're able to kind of anticipate those changes that are happening outside and are able to kind of mobilize uh, the resources faster than those changes, you survive. And not only you survive, you as an entity, you also thrive. And that's the whole point. Yeah. Now, uh, why this speed of change is becoming more and more crazier, if I may use that word, is because of the two words that you may have heard. These two words are VUCA, and the other word is Bani. Now, because of these two words, what made you successful won't keep you successful. Yeah. So I'm sure you are able to see uh, the long forms of VUCA and Bani. VUCA is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And Bani is brittle, anxious, nonlinear, and incomprehensible. Now, the fundamental thing is, I was talking to I was talking to one of the one of the sales leaders, and at an individual level, this VUCA and Bani can really disrupt an individuals. While we are talking of leadership, organization, and all, but look, for you and me, and for our peers, for our teams, for our colleagues, for our team members, uh, the chain upwards, all of them are individuals first, and VUCA can impact. So, for example, this sales leader that I was talking to, he said, look, suddenly there is this new CRM that got introduced. The sales numbers got computed in some software, and the person got a little unsettled because the sales targets got revised twice in a month. The person didn't know whether the numbers will reflect. So volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. And the person was a little on the shaky grounds for the first couple of months, and that was not the case with him alone. I mean, all his peers, because I was talking to this person, hence I know this story. Yeah, Bani again, and this you extrapolated to organization level as well. The VUCA can really create havoc at an organization level, while we are talking of individual challenges. Uh, Bani, I was talking to yet another senior leader from pharma, and there was one quarter in his life which didn't go well. Now the person really lost his sleep because that one quarter did not go well. A lot of questions happening by the stakeholders. The person was super anxious, right? The person lost the confidence to drive the objectives that was decided, and the person was not able to comprehend, saying what really what was the reason because of which the person missed the targets and was not able to kind of translate it in the next quarters. Couple of quarters were really tough for the person, maybe because of multiple reasons. It could be personal reason and all, but Bani can impact individuals as well. So the take is, VUCA asks us, can you navigate complexity as an individual, irrespective of the roles that you and I play, right up to the leadership level? And Bani asks, can you stay human while doing it? Yeah. So VUCA, if you and I are able to answer this question, saying, can we navigate complexity? And Bani is, can we remain human, or can we stay human while doing it? Now, the reason I'm talking only leadership, the changes that are happening, the leadership definition is the main topic is saying, is coaching absolute essential and a must for today's leaders? Now let's reflect. So let's take a pause. So far, whatever we have discussed, yeah, and see what are the coaching opportunities, or what are the coaching necessities that this person, irrespective of the level, and Gaurav did mention, saying it's no more a privilege of only the senior most leaders. While the topic today is talking about leadership level, and we have qualified that leadership gets exhibited at across all levels, and hence coaching can really be magical at all levels, especially for today's leaders. So the topic also has something called as today's leaders. So today's leaders is found at every level, and that is what people or organizations are attempting. So earlier, it's only the managerial responsibilities that people had. Today, of course, they want you to be great managers, but in addition to being good managers, they also want us to exhibit some leadership capabilities. There is some difference, and the book that I wrote, when I was doing the research between these two, I found a very good work done in 1977 that was again published in Harvard Business Review. And I picked up a thread and gave that comparison and a differentiation beyond what you and I would have studied in MBA colleges, obviously. So So there is a difference between roles, some mutual exclusivity between managerial role and leadership role, but some elements of leadership is something that is expected today across all levels. Now, if that be the case, yeah, then coaching can really unlock the potential. And we will kind of connect these dots. Okay. So far, just a small recap. We spoke about leadership, leaders. We spoke about leadership. We spoke about why things are changing so fast and why what makes you successful won't keep you successful. And because the VUCA world and the Bani world, the Bani reality, are around us every day, and they are intensifying every day. Huh? Cool. Now, so when again I was just looking at saying, okay, what are the role a leader uh, typically has to play? What role a leader plays? And one of the important distinctions or clarification that I found was in one research that McKinsey senior partners, three of the senior partners came together, and they tried finding answers to one very important question, and the question was, what actually differentiates CEOs who outperform consistently? I'll repeat the question they were trying to address. What actually differentiates CEOs who outperform consistently? Now, why did I pick up CEO? Because we are talking of the word leaders, and leaders we are qualifying at across levels. CEO's role apparently is far more complex, being the top boss within the organization, and hence they were trying to figure out. So if a complex role, if they're able to kind of figure out, saying what does the CEO actually do, maybe some elements can be synthesized down and below. And again, as I said, while leadership exists across sectors, I am confining myself to corporate leadership, and hence I have taken the CEO example here. So what they found is, yeah, and they, how did they find it? First of all, they have huge data, being McKinsey partners, so they have internal access. They looked at almost 2,400 plus CEOs and thousands of data points across 50 plus years. Imagine the scope and the magnitude and the breadth and depth of the research that they have done. And then they said that there are 6 things that the CEO definitely does uh, who consistently outperform. And if you're interested in those 6 things, here they are. The first thing that they said is these CEOs set the direction. Now, apparently, this might sound very logical, but when you look at 50 years of data, you find lot of anomalies in it. 2,400 CEOs, few of them, uh, they also kind of interviewed quite extensively, and each assumption can get challenged. So hence, the first thing that they say, that what exactly the CEO does, who consistently outperforms, is they set direction. Second, they say they align the organization, which means they align people, they align teams, they align units in that direction. Yeah. Third, they mobilize leaders. They just not align it. Alignment is one. Mobilizing the resources to make that happen is the third important role that the CEO and hence the leader uh, plays. Fourth, they engage the board, is in stakeholders, and typically they define in their research something called as TSR, total shareholder, uh, total shareholder value, TSV, or TSR, total shareholder returns. Sorry, yeah, TSR, total shareholder returns. Uh, the fifth, they say, is they connect with stakeholders. They remain connected. Yeah, and the sixth one, they manage personal effectiveness. Now, each one of this is expanded further with 3 elements for each. So there are 18 of them. The idea is not to engage today's session into this, but the idea is to connect this. Now, let's take a pause again. Where, and I would want to request you to to write a word or two, if these are the 6 things that leaders are expected to do, and research is proving that, yeah, what do you think? Where all do you think coaching can play a very important role? Write the numbers in the interest of time. So, do you think one, the leader may require coaching, two, three, four, five, or six, or combination of numbers? Put it in the chat window. And Gaurav, if I can request you, if you can read the numbers or a combination of numbers that
Yes, Bhushan.
they're talking about, it would be greatly helpful.
So some are saying in all of them, all six, all
Yeah.
areas 1 to 6, all four, fourth one, it's like engage the board.
Mm.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay. So great. I'm so grateful to you that you are
Yeah.
talking
You
about it.
know, Bhushan, as per my experience, there's one more thing that I would love to add. I don't know where would
Sure.
you
Sure.
place that. I
Sure.
think managing office dynamics.
Yeah.
In a very layman's language, I said I personally believe that one of the key roles of a CXO or a CEO, when I work with them, it's to manage office dynamics.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it could be a part of connect with stakeholders and managing
Connect. Yeah.
stakeholders
Connect with stakeholders
and managing
and engage
stakeholders. Yeah.
managing stakeholders. As I said, I only wrote the broad headlines. There are sub elements, three each for each one of them, and maybe if someone is interested, maybe I can share those. So I mean, they're not mine; they're publicly available. But in case if someone is interested, we can share that. But yeah, you're right, Gaurav. I think that's something that people have to do. Yeah. Now, uh, so so we are saying that all of that this requires uh, the coaching. If people take coaching from a certified coach on either one or all of that, that would greatly help. What coaching does is offer clarity, as all of us by now know. So setting a direction for a person, if they take coaching there in that space to clarify a few things for themselves, yeah, that would greatly help. And for each one of this, if we map uh, the what coaching does, we will be able to understand that all six, this leader can greatly help if he or she is aware and open enough to understand that they can multiply their impact if they seek professional coaching. Uh, the other thing is, how do you, so if the CEO or the leader has to then create more leaders, if that is what is one of the things, because if you want to anticipate the changes outside, you need leaders at our level for you to be able to understand, and hence for the organization to understand and get that intelligence, saying, okay, what is changing, and hence how do we prepare ourselves. So if you want to create that kind of a mindset in people, what do? You find potential in people, yeah, and grow them as leaders. But how do you find potential? What is there a science behind it? So there is something that I was looking up, and I found something very interesting done by Claudio Fernandez Arauz. Now he is uh, he's one of the most decorated and influential executive search consultants globally, uh, and a global award winner. Uh, his publication includes dozens of HBR pieces, including the cover 21st Century Talent Spotting. And also, he has authored multiple books. By the way, one of the things he talks about is the definitive guide to recruiting in good times and bad. Uh, and one of the highest respected executives in terms of executive search. And he has said that there are these 5 things that really determine uh, whether the person can and will be a good fit as a leader. First, motivation. which is hunger to grow and expand the impact. Second, curiosity, which is learning agility across contexts. So is the person learning on his or her own in different situations, circumstances, and growing? So that's what curiosity is defined. Insight, which is pattern recognition and strategic thinking. And four, engagement, which is relational influence and connection. And we saw that on the previous research as well. And five, determination, which is grit under pressure and setbacks. Now, if you and I were to think that if these are the potential indicators, where do you think the aspiring leaders in whom these potentials will be or these markers will be checked by their bosses and their bosses, where do you think they need the they can have the coaching? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3, 4, or 5? Or what combination do you think coaching can really help? If you can write those combinations in the chat, and Gaurav, if you can help me understand the combinations, please.
I'll read it for everyone's benefit. It says all 5, 1, 3, and 4, which is motivation, insight, and engagement.
Yeah.
The next one is saying 4 and 5, which is engagement and determination. 2 and 3, which is curiosity and insight, especially 4 and 3, which is insight and engagement.
Yeah.
Actually, all of them again.
All of them. All of them. Thank you. Thank you. It indicates to me that, yeah, so, and that is the reason why we are saying that across levels, coaching can really help. We are saying, or we are seeing two factors. What does the CEO do? And we saw 6 things. And if someone has to identify the potential for middle level managers to grow as leaders, what are the potential markers? So this is what we are seeing on the slide. And most of us are saying that either one or all combinations will require coaching. And that is how we kind of connect back to our title, saying for today's leaders, they cannot avoid coaching. And they should not. Yeah. If they want to grow. Now let's. I'm sorry for this font inconsistency. I'm not sure if you are able to read it. Now let's look at what the coaching definition is. ICF says partnering with client in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. If you pick up these words, partnering with the client, here client would mean their team members. Yeah. So if they have to create an environment of coaching within the organization, how do they do? Can a leader or can a supervisor partner with a team member? Will it be seen as weakness? Yeah. Will the person be able to have that patience to partner? Partnering would mean that you need to carry on the process rather than giving an advice and getting it done. Yeah. So now, if you really break this definition down, you'll realize that the old pattern, the yesterday's boss versus the coach leader, which is today's and tomorrow's boss. Yesterday's was more giving commands. And today's or tomorrow's leader, if they have to be successful, is more offering guided discoveries to their team members. Does it benefit them? If they are running against time, if they are short on deadlines, if they are tight on deadlines, if they have to deliver something and there is a continuous flow of work that is coming their way, the leader's way or the manager's way, do you think, despite of whatever we speak here, do you think in reality, this coach leader, howsoever convinced he is, saying, yeah, it's great, fine, looks to be a fantastic proposition, but do you think he can afford a guided discovery? Will he have that much time? And will he have that equation in his mind, clear, his or her mind, that if they spend that time, it will be a multiplier effect as compared to command and control, which will always grow in arithmetic terms, yeah, slowly, while the other thing may take time, but it has an exponential growth opportunity. How many of you think that a coach leader, where coaching sometimes could be a little slow process compared to the command and control and fast and speed, how many of you think that adopting this method is relatively easy than trying to continue with the old pattern and getting stuck? If you think this transition is easy for today's leaders, what will it take to transition is a different question to answer. But do you think if you think this transition is going to be easy, can you just comment yes in the chat window? Of course, you have the option of saying no as well, or maybe neutral, whatever is your preference. The question is, do you think today's leaders, provided something happens, can transition into coach leaders? Gaurav, if you can just share a few reactions.
People are giving thumbs up, yes. Only one is saying no.
Okay. And I respect every reaction that's coming your way, because these are some of our observations, and they're true, because that's what you would have observed in your environment. Saying, yeah, maybe my organization or somebody's organization is saying, yeah, I don't think that culturally that would work in our environment. And that's fine for the time being. But generally speaking, I'm seeing few yeses, and which means there is a belief that this is doable and this is possible. Now, one of the things, so when I was talking to one of the leaders in a coaching conversation, and one very interesting thing that they said was, they said, how do I manage my day? Saying, who must I be, not what must I do? And I didn't understand that headline first. Then I kind of clarified, and I checked with him what the person is intending to say. And he said, leadership effectiveness is about who shows up before what gets done. And again, I was confused, and I kind of clarified, requested to clarify. And then the person said, look, before every meeting, I think and I talk to myself for 1 minute, as in the mind, saying, what role am I playing in this meeting? Or who am I in this meeting? Am I a curious learner in the meetings? And my orientation then gets very different. I demonstrate openness and inquiry. Yeah. Am I a decision maker in these forums or in these meetings? And then I show the courage and conviction to move fast in taking decisions. And is this meeting a crisis management meeting? Broadly, I mean, he somehow looked at his calendar, and broadly he bucketed it in three. I don't know why not five, why not two, but he bucketed it into three. So I'm presenting it to you. Maybe there could be a few other categories as well. And he said, under this crisis meetings, which I am required to be as a part of my job, can I anchor stability amidst turbulence? So he said, I remind myself of what meeting I'm getting into. That helps me get into that zone, and then I enter into a meeting. And he said, that has been helping me a lot. So one of the mantras that the person was talking about is, before meeting, ask, what version of me does this moment require me to be? Does this resonate with you? Do you think this can be one of the takeaways, and that can help you manage things a little more effectively, reduce your stress? If you agree with this, you may want to say yes in the chat window. As I said, you also have the option of saying no, neutral, whatever you feel like. I'll take a pause for 10 seconds and wait for your responses. Gaurav, if you can help me understand the responses, please.
It says yes, 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 totally.
Wow,
Yeah.
wow, wow. I'm so glad. I'm so glad that the time that you're spending here today, there's some takeaways that you can directly kind of apply tomorrow. Now, uh, one of the things I've seen leaders, besides the research that we are talking about, and we promised to you that we'll talk about the real life examples as well, of course, without disclosing the identity, because that's the promise to the coaches. Uh, they say learning is not a trait; it's a ritual. So something that I read about the Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is that he blocks learning days on his calendar. And when he took over in 2014 as a CEO, what he did was he kind of got his senior teams together and he said, one of the things that we are known for is I know it all, or we know it all kind of an attitude. Maybe for all the right reasons that Microsoft has had that kind of a journey till then, and they would have developed that as an orientation. He said, we need to shift that gear. And the gear shift was from we know it all to we learn it all. Now, that's a dramatic shift. Now, imagine the orientation that leaders have. I mean, they have commanded the world market. I mean, every desktop had Windows, right? And hence the orientation. Right, wrong, we don't know. We're not judging here. I'm saying, I know it all. We know it all. From there, saying we now need to learn it all. What does it take? What did it take? And then there were a lot of things that they did. The first important thing that they did was to have a coach, a professionally certified coach for the senior most team members, and they have had their journeys. It's a publicly documented thing. If you're interested, you can look at that. Maybe we could share that with you in case if you're interested. Write to us. We'll be happy sharing those things. So there was one program that got curated. There was an external thought leader, Carol Dweck, and she speaks about growth mindset. So he took inspiration from there, those frameworks, and there's some internal chief learning officer who kind of created a program uh, in addition to the coaching practice or coaching engagement that the senior leadership did. And then one of the orientations that they said for leaders and across levels is one of your responsibilities as a leader or as a manager is to coach your teams. And that flows as a philosophy and as a culture in that organization. So when we write here saying they block learning days, it's just not the headline. There is this history, 11 years of history. Yeah, 2014 is when he took over as the CEO, and we're talking of 2025. So 11 years of history, and it does revenue wise, and of course this one practice. I'm nowhere saying that this one practice would have led to the kind of revenue jump that it had. So and there are multiple reasons for it, but one of the important practices was this: to raise curiosity, maybe to innovate, to develop people. I think all of that significantly contributed. So when he took over, the valuation of the organization 2014 was 0.3 trillion US dollars. Today, they are somewhere around 3.6 trillion US dollars. So which is 10x in 11 years. Yeah. So we are talking of a very solid revenue growth thing as a direct impact of these things. Now, again, I'm saying this is not the single most reason why this would have happened, but this is one of the very important reasons that time and again, publicly documented uh, sources tell us that this was one of the fundamental shifts in doing that. Yeah. The second thing is shadowing peers. Many organizations institutionalize this practice. Besides, the another one that I'm talking about is institutionalizing reflection. Now, these are, by the way, not easy things, but again, if you notice, these fall under coaching domain. In other words, I'm saying, if leaders across hierarchies believe, hire, and have certified coaches, either external or internal but certified, yeah, they tend to greatly benefit themselves, their environment, their units, and hence the organization. So look at the definition, look at the competencies, look at the requirements of leadership, look at what is expected, and then connect back to the leadership definition that we started with. So if you have to outpace the external environment, which is one of the fundamental responsibilities of leadership, all of this has to unpack for you, your organization, and for the leadership. And hence coaching becomes super central to it, because these are the fundamental tenets. These require shifts, and those shifts happen faster if you have a belief, commitment in coaching. Yeah. One of the things that people have, however, discovered is that they are they suffer, or they go through something called as Lake Wobegon effect. Now, what is that? It says that we believe that we are above average leaders. Yeah. Now, so that is taken from one of the movies, I guess. So it's a fictitious town. All children believe they're above average. Now, that is a statistically impossible probability, but psychologically very common. In leadership, also, this effect is quite prevalent, where leaders across levels believe that they are above average leaders, which means the CEOs have rated themselves higher than their direct reports did. Across levels, the bosses rated themselves higher than their team members or subordinates. So self-confidence hides self-ignorance. Look at these words again. A coach, or maybe look at the second one, feedback gaps block growth. Typical blind spots for leaders. Typical blind spot for leaders. One, self-confidence hiding self-ignorance, and feedback gap blocking growth. Do you resonate with this? Do you see leaders like this? No one tells them about their blind spots, but you see glaringly their blind spots. And of course, because it's a blind spot, they're not aware of it, and they tend to continue with that. Have you experienced or seen in your organization or some other organizations, or with some friends or their bosses? If you have, say yes in the chat window. You always have the freedom to have the other point of view as well. I'll take a pause for 10 seconds to just understand your reactions. Gaurav, in case if there are any responses, if you can help me with that.
It says, yes, issues with boss. It says yes. Yes.
Yeah. So these are typical. And the way to do that is invite the truth before the comfort, build feedback loops early. That's a great thing that someone can do. And that someone, if that happens to be a coach, fantastic, nothing like it. Yeah. So I was coaching one of the senior leaders, and this thing was glaringly visible. And the person was not giving time initially. A couple of times we agreed on some date and some time, and he never turned up, saying, I'm busy, 25 years, expert, people come to me, my calendar is out of control. And third time I said, boss, don't waste your time, don't waste my time, and whatever conversations we would have had. And no one spoke to him like this, but someone had to tell him this. Yeah. And the moment we had a little longer and stronger conversation, the greatness of these people again also is, at least that person was, that he never missed a session thereafter again between us. So that is the other side also. I mean, they're very sensitive. They take the feedback positively and they act on it. So managing output versus multiplying capability. performance talks, instructions and judgment, and coaching conversations, against as compared to that, are curiosity driven and possibility driven. Performance talks are fix problems immediately, and coaching conversations build ownership, and so on and so forth. So performance is equal to squeezing lemon here and now, and uh, coaching conversations are planting orchards. So metaphorically, if you want to kind of remember this, this is what it is. So if the leaders are able to kind of transition, and when we are saying this, it doesn't mean a permanent shift. Okay, I mean, every time you can't be in one particular stance. I mean, it's interchangeably. I mean, sometimes you have to accelerate, speed up, and we all understand that. So, but the overall orientation, if you are able to kind of shift, that's the real journey of becoming a leader, and hence coaching is super central again to it. Yeah. Uh, so building that culture by talking to one leader at a time is something that the leaders do. And I've seen many leaders doing that these days, and shifting it. So what are the three practices that you think you may want to pick up and do it tomorrow? Uh, Maybe in your conversations, if you're able to ask before advising people, I think that's one shift that you can try. Try one experiment maybe tomorrow, and see the magic it can create for you. Yeah. Maybe we spoke about something called as used to be list, and some of you have said that, yeah, I think that's a good idea. So check what are the broad buckets that you are usually required to be a part of the meetings. See how you can classify that, uh, and just take that 1 minute pause and see what you need to be in that meeting. See what shifts for you. And the third one is schedule learning and feedback. When you do it quite consistently, and you have chosen to do that today as well, amidst all your day long efforts that you must have put in, being a working day, I think that anyway indicates that you are scheduling your learning and feedback sessions. Uh, I have done some research when I wrote and published this book 6 months back, uh, which has 5 sections. And if you really look at it, it talks about managing, leading. So, The Irresistible Manager is the title, and the subtitle is Managing, Leading, and Thriving in a Disrupted World. Uh, have some more interesting research there, and I'm sure you will like it. With that, I think we need to, as Gaurav promised, we need to stop this. And this is what I had to say in today's session. I don't know if some things I would have rushed in the interest of time. My apologies for that. But yeah, that's what it is. I'll take a pause, pass it on to Gaurav, and open for questions if there are any.
Thank you, Mr. Kulkarni. Always a pleasure listening to you. And I think the kind of homework that you do before you present anything that you do, I'm sure people would have a lot of questions. And did you rush through the content? My answer is yes. I so wish we had more time so that we could listen to you. We can have more um, experience sharing from your side. So let's take a pause and would love to hear if you have any question, just put it in the Q&A and we would love to take that question and pass it on to Mr. Kulkarni to understand his views on that. All right, so we don't have a question and the time is also, we are marching towards um, 8 o'clock. Clear, concise, and certainly useful. Chitra Ravi, thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, we have already right now there's a 61st batch of the Art and Science of Coaching program is going on. So in case you are already a coach, then you may want to look at the PCC level coaching, the next level 2 coaching. And in case you are not, okay, there is a question. It says, how about being an internal facilitator as well as apart from the coach? How about being an internal facilitator as well, apart from the coach? Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if I understood the question correctly, but I'm presuming that you are saying if you are a facilitator within the organization, can you also become the coach? Or if you wear these two responsibilities, will you be able to do justice? Oh, yes, certainly. Uh, Rather, they will complement each other. While the competencies and the way in which you are required to operate in these two spaces are a little different. Uh, but if you have both the hats and you are an internal person within the organization, you as well as the organization benefits tremendously. And one of the persons that you're seeing is the one answering you, because I am a facilitator. I'm an endorsed facilitator by IAF, International Association of Facilitators, and I'm a PCC by ICF. So yeah, it beautifully gels well. I can tell you from my experience.
Super. Thank you. So, Pushpinder Kaurji is saying, can I know about the investment budget for this level one program? Definitely, I'll ask somebody from my team, Pushpinder ji, to reach out to you to share with you the complete details of the art and science of coaching. In fact, our current batch is going on. The next batch is there starting on 22nd of January. Praveen Sahab, you're a sales professional with 20 years. Will coaching adds value? My answer is hands down, coaching is going to bring out the person in you that you'll be pleasantly surprised with. It's going to take your practice to the next level. It'll add a lot of value where you'll be able to add a lot of value to your customers. It's going to change and transform the kind of conversations that you'll be having with your participants. Chitra Ravi, have enjoyed your webinars. Thank you. Not receiving regular mails. How is that possible? My marketing team is not doing well. Okay, so I'll ask my marketing team to do a little better and we'll ensure that your mail ID is there with us. We'll take care of that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Such a pleasure having you all here. Please continue to bestow your love, your kindness to us all the time, because it's only because of you that we have been able to sustain all these webinars. And for as long as my memory serves me, I think we have been doing these webinars every Wednesday, every second and fourth Wednesday for the last 5 to 6 years. In fact, till March 2026, every week we are organizing these sessions from our coaching community where these people are coming together to talk about coaching, to talk about the benefits of coaching, how you can actually take it home and talk to your son, daughter, niece, and nephew in a coaching conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, so much love to all of you. Thank you so much. And you take care of yourself. And I look forward to meeting you next week yet again with another powerful session. Bhushan Saab, thank you so much. Such a pleasure having you here. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your experiences, and all the care that you bring. After all of us are on a mission to make India the coaching capital of the world.
Thank you.
Take care. Stay blessed. Bye bye.
Thank you. Thank you.